Welcome back to Our Community. Susie Thomas having a great time visiting with Evie Riegler, talking about her new book, Rollin' in the Dough. And it's the story of somebody who really took a leap of faith, left a very lucrative banking career, and opened her own pastry shop, which I think translates into anybody with a dream. Wouldn't this just be the perfect book to give anybody who has got a dream? You've got a little fire ignited in you, but you just need that encouragement to say, go for it. Evie, what was it that made you go for it?
Well, I'm a very strong-willed person, I guess. I've been told that by family. And so I just had to do it. And let me tell you, because I knew banking, I also knew, the first person I went to was my boss, God bless you, but he looked at me and he said, "Are you out of your mind? Number one, you're not leaving me. And number two, what if I had to foreclose on you? I can't throw you out on the street. I couldn't do that to you." And I said, "You're not going to throw me out on the street. It's okay. I'm going to do it." And he said, "No, I will not give you the loan, and you are not doing this, and you are not leaving this bank." And so I called, our competitors, because when you work downtown, you know the other people. And so I went through all of them, and they all told me the same thing. If we have to foreclose on you, we couldn't do that to you. We couldn't throw you out on the street. You're our friend. So I thought, gee, Merry Christmas.
Thanks for the faith.
Yeah. Well, hey, banking, it's
they've
the
seen
numbers.
it.
Oh, yeah, exactly. And if somebody in a restaurant, let alone a bakery, walks into a bank and wants to get a loan, the doors are closing. Everybody's busy. It's the truth. Because the highest risk business for failures are restaurants.
That's so interesting. But you came from a family with a successful restaurant.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
So they knew you knew what you were doing.
Well, but I still had never had my own business before, so I was unproven. And my sister and her husband owned a very well-known restaurant, and she used to give me her used restaurant magazines, trade magazines, and I used to like to look at them for ideas. And there was this story, and I described this in the book, about a woman who wanted to open her own barbecue place in San Francisco, who is, that town is just, we think Belden Village is saturated with restaurants, although Belden Village might have caught up with Frisco now.
Yeah.
And so it told about how she went to see banker after banker after banker after banker. Well, she went to see like 25. And finally the 25th one said, "Okay, I like your idea." And of course, she made millions her first year, and it was that wonderful story.
Oh, great story.
Yeah, but after I read that, I thought, oh, for heaven's sakes, I only have to see 20 more.
Oh, I love that.
It gave me the inspiration.
Yes.
Hey, if she could go see 25, you can go see 20 more. You'll find them.
How many did you need to see? What was that number for you?
The next one.
Oh, there you go.
And it was because a very good customer of mine, once a month he would have his controller call me, and she would take me out to lunch, just as a thank you for, taking care of it was a large account. And so Pat called me, and we met the next day for lunch, and she said, "You just aren't you. I know something's on your mind. What's the problem?" And so I said, well, I told her, and she said, "Guess what? Don't tell your boss, but we're getting ready to move our banking relationship, and my boss is going to call our new banker up in Akron, and he'll make sure he calls you. And you will get this loan through him because my boss will make sure of it." I said, no. And the next day, Bob from a bank in Akron, later that afternoon.
Oh, my.
Bob did call me like 30 minutes later. And he said, "So-and-so called me and told me I'm supposed to talk to you, and I can meet you tomorrow."
And God will make a way where there seems to be no way. You know what else I love about this book is there's a little love story. Do you mind sharing a little bit about that?
Well, Mother always said, after I had my shop, even before when I worked at the bank, I was divorced. And she said, you're not going to meet your Prince Charming working and going home and being with your son and weeding your garden. And then after I had my shop, I was working 24/7 practically. She'd say, you're never going to meet that nice, rich Greek man, that's going to take care of you the rest of your life.
They need to eat cookies and cakes too.
You need to get out. You need to go here. You need to go there. La, la, la. And so I used to just laugh and I'd say, you know what, Mom, that's nice, but I'm really not interested. Number one, I'm committed to my shop. I loved working. I loved my customers. I loved what I was doing. I was happy. And, besides, I was too tired. Mm-hmm. After working all day long, I'd be too tired to go anywhere. Number one, I'm not interested. Number two, I'm too tired. And so...
And your son was grown by this time?
Well, even then,
mm-hmm.
But now my son is grown. He's in the military. He's gone off to the military. I wanted him to have his education, and so I thought, well, go into the military. And so the owner of a radio station was a customer, and when he was out cold calling to get business, he would always stop in my shop, and as soon as he'd walk in the door, he'd say, I know you're going to say no, but I know you'll give me a free cookie to shut me up. And I'd say, you're right. And so Jack would walk in, and I'd always walk up to him with a brownie or something, And we'd talk, and he was a big-time banker in Chicago many years ago. So we'd talk about banking and business and this and that. And he came in, and I had just had the first surgery on my leg, and I was not in a good mood. I wasn't even supposed to be there. I was supposed to be at home with my leg propped up. And I was at the shop, and I had my leg propped up, and he came in, and he saw me. And so we were talking, and he said, well, I better get out there and, drum up some sales. And so that was it. And the next morning, I turned on the station at 5 a.m. like I always did to listen to Ron Rigler's morning show on WCER, Where Christ Ever Reigns, 900 a.m. And so all of a sudden, Ron said, boy, the clouds out there are really fluffy. They're like fluffy big bowls of Evie's homemade buttercream frosting.
Oh, my.
I thought, oh, my gosh. The anesthetic is frying my brain. I thought, oh, my gosh, did I really hear that? Did I really hear that? And then he just kind of said, okay, Evie, I know you like Frank Sinatra, so this next song is for our favorite cookie queen up in North Canton. It continued every day. Every day this continued. And he finally got up the nerve to come into the shop to meet me.
Oh, my goodness. But by that time, you were really, really wondering who this person is. Right? You were probably pretty eager to meet him as well.
I was afraid he was going to get fired. But Jack was egging him on. Jack just thought it was hilarious.
Well, both dear men, I will tell you. So, yes, I love that. And you go through all of that. Evie, oh my goodness, I knew our time was going to be scooting along here, rolling in the dough. And Evie tells one story after another, and it's just absolutely delightful.
Thank you.
What would you say, first of all, to the person listening saying, I've got a little dream of my own, and I've been told no 5 or 6 times. What would you say to that person?
Well, if you're not afraid of losing the people that are closest to you because they will think you need to be committed, if you really, really feel you are right, if you really feel this is something you should do, pray on it and do it. Just do it. And know that if it doesn't work out, it's okay. It's all right. And I became ill, had to give up my shop. I'm back in banking again.
Yeah.
So, things happen. But I had my shop for quite a long time.
How many years?
17 years.
Oh, it's wonderful.
And I enjoyed it. I worked very hard. I had to give it up, but I did it. And I loved it. And it really was the best times of my life. And it was because of my wonderful customers. And if I can add just one thing, a customer asked me if she could meet me because she wanted to pick my brain. Her daughter wanted to do mail order gift baskets, and she wanted to know if I would give her some recipes. I said, of course, because I had always wanted to do mail order, but just never got there because I got so bogged down, so to speak, with doing cakes. And so when we finished, and when she walked into our little coffee clutch, she walked in with a legal pad and a pen, and I thought, wow, what all does she want to know? She kept asking me for recipes, and so I just kept giving them to her because I thought, well, what the heck?
That's so generous.
What the heck? And afterwards, she said to me, and her name is Wanda, and she said, you should write a book about your shop. And I said, Wanda, what would I write about? And she said, are you kidding? And so that's how it came about that I wrote the book.
Oh, it's so wonderful.
Because I really didn't think to do it.
The last chapter, Go Ye Now in Peace.
Yes.
Tell me about that one.
Well, and it's in the back, and this is, and I just have the words. This is a song that my church choir periodically sings at the end of our liturgy, Holy Trinity Greek Orthodox Church, and we sing that. And so that gave me strength many times too. And there were so many times when I think, oh man, what have I done? Oh God, what have I done? And the phone would ring with a big order or a referral. But a very good customer of mine, I had never seen footprints. And she wasn't allowed to drink coffee, so she'd knock on my door at 5 a.m. on her way to her job in Akron. And she'd say, okay, I know I'm not allowed to have it, just give it to me. And so I give her a carryout cup. And she said, this is for you. And out the door she went. And I opened it up, and I read footprints, and I started to cry because I thought, wow, that is who's been holding me all these times.
Yeah.
So...
And I'm sure people listening are familiar, but when you don't see that second set of footprints in the sand, that's not because he left you, it's because he's carrying you.
He was holding you. Yep,
yeah.
Exactly.
Evie, how can people get this wonderful book?
Well, they can email me, and then my last name, Riegler, RIEGLER, @att.net. And I will be glad to mail them a signed copy, or they can order it on Barnes & Noble, Amazon. So those are the ways to get it.
Okay, and the name again is Rollin' in the Dough, DOUGH. Couldn't be a more perfect title.
Ron came up with that, not me.
All of the chapter titles are so clever, so cute, and you had some help with your wonderful husband.
Ron was my editor. He really was. And, of course, he was an English major in school communications. And so he would just sit down and retype something, and I'd look at it, and I'd say, Ron, that's not me. That's too smart. See, but that's a fragmented sentence. I said, but that's the way I talk.
So you will get no fragmented sentences in this book when you order
will.
it.
I changed it back.
Oh, okay.
And my editor tried to do stuff, too, and I wouldn't let him.
No, it sounds just like Evie. It's like sitting down with a cup of coffee and enjoying one of our wonderful cakes that looks like an armadillo or mashed potatoes and meatloaf or whatever you wanted her to look. Princess crown or a wedding dress. I'm telling you.
Or baby carriage.
With
ruffles.
These were works of art. I wish that there were pictures in here. You'll have to have a website where you post the photos of some of those cakes because they were works of art. Just amazing.
Thank you.
And now you continue to help people in the banking world as well. Thank you for using all your gifts.
Thank you.
Rolling in the Dough, Evangeline
Marinides.
Riegler. Evie Riegler, thanks for all you do in our community.
Thank you, Susie.